Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. I want to give all infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth in sincerity. They steered us well and they rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. May the blessing of election be upon your house. This is the brother Zion Amawan coming at you with another lesson to feed the lambs through the Holy Spirit. Haracha'a Kodash. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and to the point. All right. In this lesson, we're going to get into Israel rejected the Lord's way. All right. Israel as a nation rejected the ways of Yahweh Shema Shai. OK, Israel want to worship Yahweh Shema Shai like how they want to. OK, and they do that by other gods. OK, and you know, traditions of men. You know, you got these Israelites out here. They rather follow after what Big Mama told them versus what the Lord told them, man. All right. That's why Jake out here eating pork. That's why Jake out here through. That's why Eve out here wearing weaves and shit. That's why Eve out here fighting in the middle of the street and niggas is selling dope. I'm talking about, man, Jake just want to do what the fuck they want to do, man. They want to go up the Broadway, man. All right. But the only thing that pork sandwich gonna do is lead your ass to a fucking missile, man. And excuse my Brazilian Portuguese, you know. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see. You know, see, a lot of Jake is they at a crossroad. They done heard the truth a little bit. Now it's time to make a damn decision, man. You either gonna go this way or you gonna go that way. You either gonna go left or you gonna go right. There's only a fork in the road, man. You either gonna go here or there. All right. But you better make sure that that path is the right way. OK. Because if you go up some other way, you a thief and a robber, man. All right. It's like Yahweh, you know what I'm saying? The Heavenly Father, Yahweh, will have to draw you to his son, man. All right. That's the spirit, because the air conditioner just turned on, man. Call all y'all Shema Shai. But it says, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. Right, man. You got to ask for the old way, the old paths. Okay. Yahweh Shema Shai is not going to deliver no modernized, you know, American. You know, you call yourself African American. I'm black. You know, you call yourself these modern terms, man. The Lord going to leave your ass here and melt you. You know, where is the good way? You hear that? Where's the good way, man? You got to look for the old past. Ask for the old past. What our forefathers have done. Matter of fact, let me stop right there. I'm going to hold that scripture right there. But let me get this right here. I got Sirach 2 and 10. It reads, look at the generations of old and see. You hear that? So you got to look at what our forefathers have done. All right. And see, did ever any trust in the Lord, Yahweh Shai, and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? So you got to look at the generations of old and what our forefathers have done and how they handled certain situations and how they worship Yahweh Shema Shai. You can't worship Yahweh Shema Shai like how you want to. You got to worship Yahweh Shema Shai like how it's required you to. Okay, you are required to serve Yahweh Shema Shai a certain way. You are required to praise Yahweh Shema Shai a certain way. You are required to pray to Yahweh Shema Shai a certain way. You can't do what the fuck you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it. That's going to lead you to a missile. You're going to get destroyed. Point blank, period. You can't eat what you want to eat. You can't do what you want to do. You can't act like how you want to act, man. Point blank, period. You know, Israel rejected the Lord's way. That's why 2/3 of our people got to get put to death. All right. 2/3 of our people have to get put to death. because of their iniquity, man. Okay? They have chose the world versus Yahweh Shai. So whatever God that you so-called lean on, which is, it could be money, it could be box, it can be whatever, you know, all right? But you supposed to abstain from all evil, man. Okay? You cannot serve two masters. All right? So let's go back to Jeremiah right quick. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. You hear that? Where is the good way? All right. So what is that good way? Let's get it. Proverbs 4 and verse 2. Proverbs 4 and 2. For I give you good doctrine. You hear that? Forsake ye not my law. Okay. So it's all about the doctrine that you teaching and the doctrine that you are subscribed to, man. Matter of fact, let's go back to Jeremiah right quick. Hold on. Jeremiah 6 and verse 16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? You hear that? So let's get that word way. Let's get that word way in the Hebrew, in like the modern.
Strong's H 1870. Derech. Derech.
All right. Which is way, road, distance, journey, manner, road, way, path, journey, direction, of course of life, manner, habit, moral character. You hear that? How much Jake got moral character out here? Because this is an adulterous generation. All right. And our people boast in that. Our people boast in adultery, about having sex with another man's wife, and they boast in it and they make songs about it. That's off, and the Lord gonna kill your ass. Yahweh Shema Shai is not dealing with adultery. In the scriptures, that can get you put to death. Okay? In the Strong's definition, a road, a course of life, or mode of action. You hear that? So this good way is a path. All right. All right. Which way are you going to go down? You either going to be in the world or you going to be in the truth. You're going to have to pick a struggle. Okay. You either going to be in the world or you going to be in the truth, because people in the world going to get a fucking missile. So it is what it is. And a lot of motherfuckers ain't going to make it to the missiles. They going to die before the missiles hit. A lot of people ain't even going to make it until Yahweh Shai come back. A lot of motherfuckers going to die long gone before, because you got to think about when all hell break loose. It's going to be hours before you start seeing everything get crazy. You may see a person walk fast over here, then another person start moving fast, and this person's gonna go over there, and all of a sudden this person running out of a store, and then all of a sudden you got a group of people running in this direction where they was at, and now all of a sudden it's all hell breaking loose. Everybody snatching shit out of cars. That's within minutes. So just imagine hours. If you ain't got Yahweh Shema Shai, you're gonna die. I don't give a fuck who you are. And I'm talking to myself first. And that goes to Psalms 91 and 1. That if you don't have, that if you're not under the shadow of the Almighty, matter of fact, I don't want to butcher it. Let me get it right quick. I got Psalms 91 and verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High Yahweh shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Right, man, that's this truth. You know, we have to hover, we have to get up under Yahweh Shema Shai wing. Okay? We can't do this on our own, because Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, he is too powerful. All right? They got 12 foot, 6-inch robots, you know, with guns on them. And, you know, look up this company called DARPA. You know, I always be mentioning DARPA a lot, but, you know, especially the last couple videos. But DARPA, They make robot dogs and they got so much shit, man. They got like androids, and I'm talking about like real fucking androids, man, with silicone faces and shit. You would never know that it's a damn robot. I'm talking about it's so real, man. They got robots that has artificial organs, that's water based. The water is the blood inside of it, and it flow like it got veins. It has a nervous system. It's basically a fucking human, but a synthetic one, man. You know, that's what they call like things that's fake. They call it synthetic. You know, like, you know, Eve's weave. You know, synthetic. But anyway, he that dwelleth in the secret place, right? That's his truth. You know, that's our shelter. That's where we feel our comfort at, in this truth, up under Yahweh Yahweh Shai, man, up under the elder apostles, a great millstone. That's, you know, ruling well and teaching us with 100% truth in sincerity and in truth. All right. Keeping us built up through the spirit. All right. We are in the secret place. We're in the truth. We are up under Yahweh Yahweh Shai. We have the proper doctrine, you know, because when you choose that path, you got to stand on it. You just can't change your mind and be all wavering now. Nah. What they say nowadays, stand on business. Well, you gonna have to stand on business on this one. So if you want to be a street nigga, go right ahead and be a street nigga. Let's see what you come up with. Because it's going to lead you to a missile at the end of the day. Because this place is going to get bombed with thermonuclear fire. Point blank fucking period. It is what it is. This is Babylon the Great. Yahweh Shema Shai eyes is set to destroy this place. So if you identify yourself as an American, if you identify yourself as Black, Hispanic, and Native American, if you identify yourself by those terms that Esau, the self-proclaimed white man, gave you, you're going to die a permanent American, Black, Hispanic, and Native American. Especially these fucking Hispanics around here, because they call themselves Hispanic so proudly. I'm Hispanic. That means property of Spain. So you boasting that your property, our people are through. And you got the Southern Kingdom, they identify themselves as Black. Find a land called Black and trace your lineage to that land. You're going to find yourself at Walmart in the arts and crafts staring at some fucking crayons, man. If you search for Black, there's no such thing as Black on a person. So if you identify yourself as that and you standing 10 toes down on that, well, when the grace period over with, let's see what your Black ass come up with. Or your Hispanic ass come up with. Native American ass come up with. How the hell can you be Native American? America was called something before Amerigo Vespucci came over here. This land was called Arsareth. This land wasn't called no fucking America. The only time it was called America, it was when Amerigo Vespucci came over. He was an Italian explorer. And he came over here, conquered the land, called it after himself. That's what Esau do. They conquer lands and they call it after themselves. Just like, you know, you got Africa, for instance. Africa wasn't called Africa. It was called Ham. That was the land of Ham. Okay? And they changed it to Africa, just like Egypt. Egypt was called Kemet. You know, Egypt is Greek, which means Egyptos, which means slavery. You know, but you can't tell a 2/3 nigga this. You know, they'd be ready to pull a gun fu out, you know. Because Jake's so fucking destroyed, all they know how to do is kill their own brother. That's all they know how to do. They don't know how to do nothing else but kill their own brother. Because they're fucking destroyed. And that's why the Lord got to do that shit to their ass. Destroy him. He that dwelleth in the secret place of Yahweh Shema Shai shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That means you will be protected. So I don't give a fuck how many threats a person may say, how much shit a person may talk, what all type of shit they may got going on, guns, this, click, clack, and that. It's all up to you. How about Shema Shah, whether you die or not? No 2/3 nigga ain't running a goddamn thing on this side, man. The only thing they running is their mouth and their hands and their feet, especially in that day, man. Because the toughest guy gonna be just like in the fucking fetal position, crying for their mama with all hell break loose. All right? Matter of fact, let me get that. I'm gonna get Jeremiah 30, man. Because this is going into Jacob's trouble. All right? This is a time that we have never seen before. This is a time you cannot prep. You know, because you got these preppers out here, I got, all this fucking, all this, canned foods and all this and that. Only thing you doing is stocking that up for somebody else, man. All right. It's up to you. How about Shema Shah, whether you're going to keep that or not. And a lot of times it's only going to sustain you for a little bit because you're going to have to bust up anyway. You're going to have to bust a move anyway because the persecution coming. So who's saying that you're going to have all this during the persecution, man? All right, when your name and face is plastered every goddamn where, you got to get the hell on. If they come in your house, let them take you. What the fuck you gonna do, man? All right, you all in the back of the house and they kick in the door. What you gonna do? Let them take you. But if you see them niggas coming down the street, you get the fuck on, man. And you flee into another city. Because the scriptures say if you are persecuted in one city, you flee to another. But Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 2, thus speaketh the Lord power of Israel, not the world. All right. You so-called, we always say so-called because that's what Esau, Edom, and these elites, on down. That's what they identify you as a byword, so we always say so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American, because you're really not those so-called nationalities. You are from the 12 tribes of Israel, from the northern and southern kingdom. Now we got thus speaketh the Lord power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book, for lo, the days come, saith the Lord. And what are those days, man? All right. That I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, because we transgressed. Our people was perverting the burnt sacrifices. Our people was doing basically premeditated wickedness. They have, burnt sacrifices that you got to burn yourself, but it'd be like goats and lambs and whatever animal, you know what I'm saying? Like goats or whatever. Let's just use you as an example, the listener. Let's just say you, brother, I'm like, hey, I'm about to go off at this time. They selling the sacrifices down there at the temple downtown in the chief place of concourse, right? You can be like, Khan, hey, you want me to grab you one? So you can go off too? Just so you have your stuff already ready for Yahweh? Yeah. Matter of fact, man, let me get 2 of them junks. Khan, yeah. All right, man. Yeah, man, I got you. And then, man, that's so wicked. And they going to the temple, buying all of these sacrifices. And then after that, guess what they do next? They'll go off, plan it, premeditate it, and they'll go act like, they'll go burn the sacrifice, and they'll act like, oh, Salaki, Yahweh Shema Shah, please forget. Just fake. That's why Yahweh Shema Shah not dealing with Jake when it comes down to the burnt sacrifices. That's why he had to give us Yahweh Shah. And Day of Atonement coming up too. Day of Atonement is going to be on September 30th of this year, September 30th, 2025. So, we got Day of Atonement. So you need to know what the Day of Atonement means. This is a day where you get a clean slate. All your sins you've been going off all year and all these going off, man. You can get a clean slate, man. So on September 30th, how many people are going to be eating pork? How many people are going to be eating shrimp, crab with no fear? That's the problem with our people. They too fucking prideful because they lack fear. And when you lack fear, you reject the Lord's way. All right. And that's this doctrine. That's this truth. But our people will go down there to the church, you know, and they get, you know, their ears soothed with all that bullshit, man. And they come as you are and they stay as they are. That's why they act the way they act. You know, fucking serpents, you know. That's why we in the captivity that we in now. Because 2/3 of our people ain't shit. They ain't shit and they ain't gonna never be shit else. You know, that's why our people rejected Yahushua. Our people said we have no king but Caesar. That's what our people said. Our people chose Caesar over Yahushua. And these same niggas is here today eating pork chop sandwiches all on the grill, trying to fuck your wife and then write a song about it. These the same niggas that chose Barabbas. And if you look, here's a fun fact. Did you know Barabbas' last name was Jesus? Try that on for size. Barabbas' last name was Jesus. And Jesus means earth pig. In the Latin, G, or out of Jesus, means earth. Sus means pig. That's why these niggas like pork so much, because they call on Jesus. But anyway, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. Possess means own. All right, this is going to be a violent takeover, starting with our Lord Yahushua, and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't give a fuck if you believe it or not. It's gonna happen because it's written. See, Jake think because it didn't hit their doorstep that it ain't real. So they'll be skeptic about it until it's too late. And guess what? It's gonna be too late for you, man. All right. Jeremiah 30, I don't know why I went off of it, but Jeremiah 30 and verse 4. And these are the words that the Lord Yahweh spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord power, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. You hear that? This is going to be a dark time. The love of many is waxing cold. The love of many is waxing cold, but it's not just for these 2/3 pork eating niggas. No, it's for men of the Lord too. Because the most low down man can be a man of the Lord, because we can put curses on you and there's nothing you can do about it. You can say you're a bruja. You can say you're a witch. You can say you're this. I worship the boss of all bosses. While you praying to them demons to try to put a curse on somebody, I'm praying to Yahushua that made that demon. And I put curses on people through the Most High that made those demons. You calling on demons to put curses on them. And the person that they trying to put a curse on and they put demon, I work, you know what I'm saying? That demon worked for my boss. So whose curse gonna hit harder? The ones you call on the demon with, or the ones you call on Yahushua with? But you better be right with Yahushua, because the Lord will flip that curse and put it on your ass. So you got to be careful. Putting up curses ain't nothing, frugal. You don't just do it just to be doing it. No, you do it if you offended. You do it for certain reasons. And then you sit back and watch how the Most High just create a scenario in that person's life, and you can laugh about it. But anyway, for thus saith the Lord, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Because the real angel of death is Yahushua, not these left-hand demons. The real angel of death is Yahushua, ignorantly called Jesus. And he ain't no fucking white boy with blonde hair and blue eyes. You know, because Jake know they Israelites, but they don't want to follow after it. You know, of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. This is a dark time. All right. Imminent danger. Okay. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Right. So do men give birth to babies? Is what that's asking. Whether a man doth travail with child. So do a man have a baby? Can a man give birth? Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail? And all faces are turned into paleness. Right. So that hardcore dude that think that he the toughest on the block, this nigga is Big Debo. He may have killed 17,000 niggas. He may been to prison. He may be blacker than ever. He may be tall as ever. He may be as strong as ever. I don't give a fuck how much fighting styles you got, how much guns you got, because that gun to jam on your ass. That gun to jam on you. It's up to the Most High whether that gun go off or not. You know, because that gun to jam on you. And in that time, if that gun jam on you, you gonna get your ass shot. Stabbed up once. Because a lot of these niggas can't fight any goddamn way. They don't even know the first thing to do. They just throw their chin out there, not even moving their feet. Not even knowing wherever your feet go, the rest of your body go. But these niggas standing in one spot, fighting on top of each other, leaning forward, they gonna get their ass knocked out. That's why these bitch ass niggas got guns, and that's the first thing they fucking grab, because they don't know how to fucking fight. So in Jacob's trouble, if you want to be a gladiator and all that type of shit, that's the time to be a gladiator, because the Lord gonna light y'all ass up with judgment, plagues, turmoil. All right? Where I do see a man with I see every man with his hands on his loins, right? As a woman in travail. So you gonna have a lot of niggas in the fetal position crying for their motherfucking mama, and that bitch been dead 15 years. They gonna be calling on their dead mama. You just wait until the famine come back. You just wait until cannibalism come back. Because all it takes is for a lack of food. Because a famine doesn't mean there's no food. It means there's the lack of food. There's a lack of food. I ain't say there ain't no food during a famine. No, it's a lack of it. It's scarce. So you're going to have a lot of people eating each other. You know, just like that time, what's that, Book of Eli? Book of Eli, they was having this little damsel in distress crying, and they want to have some Captain Save-A-Hole come over there, and then they, tie them up and they part them like the merchants, man. Cannibalism is coming back. You're going to have a lot of women out here eating their motherfucking kids. That's in the Bible. And the Lord going to bring that back. Because you got a lot of son husbands out here and all of that. And these women love they, son husband more than they real husband. And the kids are the most needy in the house. But they treat the kids better than that. Come on, man. The Lord finna do a change around here. Matter of fact, man, let me get that scripture right quick. Because people be playing about that cannibalism, man. They be thinking that ain't going to come back, and it is. I got 2 Kings 6. I read verse 28. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. So this is a time of famine. You got negotiations about eating each other fucking kids, man. You gonna have that same thing today. Dada man he gonna be rotisserie with a pole up his ass and not his mouth, and they gonna be roasting this motherfucking ass. You think the Lord not gonna bring that back? Look how proud these motherfucking niggas is out here. Look how bad these motherfucking kids is, man. You really think that Yahweh Shema Shah not gonna bring back cannibalism? He gonna bring back a famine. 2 famines too. It's gonna be a physical famine and a spiritual famine. The Lord gonna bring 2 famines in the last days at the same time. Damn near the same time. You're gonna have the famine of the word where you're not even gonna hear the word. And the Lord is gonna make us cleave our tongues to the roof of our mouth, and we ain't gonna reprove nobody. We ain't gonna say shit to these niggas. We are gonna retire, so to speak. We're not gonna be teaching forever. We're gonna retire at a point. Okay? And then after that, we're gonna have to go our damn separate ways. Some brothers gonna still be together, and some brothers gonna be by their damn self. That's just how I go. You know, but Yahweh Shema Shai is grooming us for this, not to where we'll be able to endure. Yeah, we'll close out. Point been made. Jacob through. We got Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. All right, we'll close out. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see. So you got to stand in the ways. You got to cross path. You either going to choose this way or you going to choose that way. You either going to choose the broad way or you going to choose the straight gate. That's it. It ain't no other, because you got all this red pill, blue pill talk where everybody talk around the solution. No, you either going to choose the broad way or the straight gate. That's it. The broad way is the world with all these other doctrines, philosophies, and all that other crap. All right. And on the right hand side, you got this truth, the straight gate. Yahweh Yahweh Shai, the 100% truth. All right. What are you going to pick? All right. But it's up to Yahweh Shema Shai to put the spirit on you to find Yahweh Shai. He's going to draw you to Yahweh Shai because you have been put on good ground. Your spirit, your mindset, your level of mind is on a good ground. You don't have, so your mind by the wayside. I have thorns and things of that nature. You caring about the affairs of this world and all that. No. You focus on Yahweh Shema Shai. You got those spiritual blinders on, man. All right. And ask for the old paths. You got to ask for the old way, the old paths, what our forefathers did, the ancient way, the ancient mind. All right. And once you call on the ancient names as well, you unlock ancient access to Yahweh Shema Shai. Where is the good way? And walk therein. Now, when you walk therein, you subscribe to that way or that path. You subscribe to it. So if you the type of person that subscribe to selling dope, and then that's all you want to do, then you're going to die selling dope. Because if you really sell dope, the Lord consider you a sorcerer and a witch. So while you want to put curses on people and you a 2/3 and bree high this and that and you selling dope, technically you a fucking sorcerer by selling dope. You a witch by selling dope. But that's another lesson. And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. So when you choose the right path, which is the straight gate, Yahweh Yahweh Shai, which is no other way, he's the only way. Once you go up that correct way, you will find rest for your soul. That's why you got a lot of people out here bugged the fuck out. Every time they walk around, they just look like a wild fucking animal, man. And it ain't like they charged up. No, they through. Because 2/3 of our people operate on instinct. They don't operate by law, statutes, and commandments, moral character, integrity, things of that nature. No, they operate off instinct to feed their flesh all the fucking time. And that's why they're in the situation that they're in, man. All right. Their life is going around in circles because they keep cutting corners, man. But they said, we will not walk therein. So after all of that, after this whole lesson of 34 minutes, Jake still ain't gonna do what Yahweh Shema Shah said to do. That's why the scripture said what? We'll close out on this one for real. You know what I'm saying? Because the spirit be going, man. I got Zechariah 13:8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. You know, so 2/3 of our people, which is 66.6% of our people, have to die and get born again through the loins of the elect. It is what it is. Okay, 2/3 of our people have to die on this side, death by pain, missiles, plagues. All right, ultimately the missiles, control fire from the chariots. And Yahweh Shah got a lot of people on his hit list. You know, Yahweh Shah got to personally deal with and see. He got to pull up, so to speak, on a lot of people. You know, that's why the scriptures say the slain of the Lord shall be many. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd shall be left therein. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire. You hear that? I'm going to bring the 3rd part through the fire. And that 3rd part is the 1/3, man. All right. And that fire is the fire of adversity. You know, the furnace of love, man. You know, getting tried. You know, our reigns are being tried, man. So Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, got to test our reigns, man. He got to make sure we worthy for that crown, because it's proving grounds, baby. You know, a blacksmith know when to take that gold out. Sometimes you got to put the gold back in there. Sometimes you got to add more fire to it. You know, watch this show. There's a show called Forged in Fire. I don't know if y'all seen it, though, but if y'all did, you know, it's a little straight little show. It's like a bladesmith show. They make blades on it. But I like watching it for the forge and all that, because it just reminds me that we them blades. You know what I'm saying? And Yahweh Shema Shah forging us to be righteous man and forging us to have perfect knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, man. Because, you know, like a jeweler or a blacksmith, when they know how to take that gold out and stuff like that, is when they can see they self in it. And Yahweh Shema Shah not going to take us out the furnace until he see himself in us. You know, that's why every day you are slowly being deniggified. Throughout the day, Yahweh Shema Shah is deniggifying you, chipping an inch off of you, chipping you into a good, you know what I'm saying, stock, man. All right. You know, like a potter when he makes, you know what I'm saying, like like he formed the clay and he can make that pot shape however he want until it's his liking. That's how Yahweh Shema Shah doing us, man. But it's going to be with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures, but also the, the law, statutes, commandments going to be in our inward parts, to where we'll be perfect judges, perfect kings. That's why we on this side, to where we can know evil. We know nothing but evil on this side. You know what I'm saying? Look at how many murder simulations you have seen from the time you started watching TV to about like 13. You probably seen thousands of simulations of a person getting murdered. That fucks with a person's mind, man. You know? You got subliminal messages and things, man. It's tearing Jake down. That's the spirit. Now, it say, and I will bring the 3rd part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined. And I will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name and I will hear them. You hear that? So Yahweh Shema Shah gonna call on our name. No, Salakia. It say, they shall call on my name and I will hear them. Right, because we are the ones in the fire, man. We are throwing up these complaints to Yahweh Shema Shah, and also our spirit is crushed. Because while we going through this fire, man, we got a contrite spirit now. It ain't like you a proud nigga, man. If you got a contrite spirit and you humble and your spirit is really crushed for what you done and you turned your back on Yahweh Shema Shah, you know, because I said at camp yesterday that basically we are, you know, so that's why Yahweh Shema Shah give us unruly women, you know, because we are those unruly wives, man, to Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah is our bridegroom. We was unruly wives, man. You know, but we are the wives that came back and trying to reconcile with our husband, Yahweh Shai. You know, that's why a remnant came back home. You know, while the other wives out here being some whores and some street runners, looking at every other thing. You know, they eyes ain't single to their husband, man. But we understand that our eyes are single now, man. Like, we have literally messed up and we came back home and now we're reconciling with our husband, Yahushua, man. You know, because he's the bridegroom. All right. And that marriage is what we fighting for, man. We all got this one penny, man. You know, and Lord's will we get it. But we got a marriage, man. And that's us in the fellowship getting beamed up, getting crowns put on our head and everything. And it says, and I will try them as gold is tried, and they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, this is the Lord is my power. Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, so, so when we change and we got those new bodies and we gonna get beamed up, it's gonna be right above the ozone layer, man. We gonna get beamed up. Man, we gonna be getting beamed up. Lord's will, we are part of that number, man. And we're going to have perfect knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, laws written in our inward parts. We ain't got to worry about this side no more. We ain't got to worry about Israel rejecting the Lord's way no more. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us the truth and sincerity. They steered us well and they rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. May the blessing of election be upon your house. We on the next one. Abaratazah. Shalom.